It has been a year like no other. During 2020, COVID-19 evolved from an isolated health concern in China to a global pandemic. In Farmers Branch, we weren't spared the hardship, but we rallied and responded aggressively. Here's a recap. On March 13th, President Trump declared a national emergency, Governor Abbott declared a state of disaster, and Mayor Dye signed a disaster declaration for the city of Farmers Branch. On the very same day, the city closed the Community Rec Center, Aquatic Center, Historical Park, Mansky Library, and the Branch Connection. All city programs, events, and activities were canceled, but membership charges to all city parks and rec facilities were suspended, as well as library late fees. On March 17th, in accordance with the state, the city of Farmers Branch ordered the closure of all restaurants and bars for dine-in services. And then on March 20th, City Hall itself was closed to in-person services. However, the city threw its support behind our residents and local businesses in important ways. First, the city published a list of restaurants that stayed open for takeout or delivery services during the closure. And several major employers ordered meals for their entire staff from these kitchens. Mayor Dye offered Meals on the Mayor, reimbursing residents for takeout meals ordered from Farmers Branch restaurants. All non-first responders in Farmers Branch were allowed to work from home if they chose. The Mansky Library staff offered virtual story time, virtual craft classes, and even a home book delivery service for several weeks. Farmers Branch Police began patrol briefings outdoors to maximize social distancing among their officers. The Combined Dispatch Center, INTEC, began asking pre-screening questions about COVID-19 while dispatching. And Cox Farms Market opened in March, providing local families a fresh grocery option at Mustang Crossing. Also in March, the city's Parks and Rec Department hosted a run or walk through Rawhide Park to help citizens stay active but safe. And they repeated the event in May and also held a virtual master plan community input meeting using Facebook Live. On March 26th, employees at the Branch Connection handed out more than 100 free meals to local residents over 50. It was a big hit. This practice expanded to include breakfast, lunch, and dinner up to 4 times per month for local seniors, and this practice continues through the fall. The city's Economic Development Office shifted into high gear, helping local merchants identify SBA grants and loans available during the pandemic and help them understand and comply with government directives, and there were a lot of them. In April, the Farmers Branch City Council opted to hold largely virtual meetings. And residents responded to the crisis with donations of protective gear for first responders and food for MetroCrest services. Staff at Farmers Branch Historical Park assembled birthday boxes using one donation from the Girl Scouts. El Rancho Supermercado donated several pallets of food to MetroCrest services. To celebrate Easter, the Aquatic Center hosted a home hunt on April 9th, and city staff held an Easter in the Branch contest by decorating windows at several city buildings and encouraging residents to do the same. Also in April, the Branch Connection handed out free umbrella palms and iris bulbs for Farmers Branch seniors to plant at home. And the mayor announced a mural contest for residents. The winning submission would be displayed on the library's front wall, and it was. The City Parks and Rec Department hosted a Chalk Your Walk program, a senior shout-out for high school graduates, and a virtual triathlon. In May, the City Council voted to postpone the 2020 municipal elections in Farmers Branch to November 3rd. However, Council and City staff put a real premium on reopening as soon as conditions allowed and resuming services in a safe environment in Farmers Branch. On Monday, May 4th, City Hall, Mansky Library, the Municipal Court, and Animal Adoption Center all reopened at a maximum of 25% capacity. And the Historical Park reopened the same day. Mansky Library installed plexiglass barriers at service desks to better protect guests and staff. Then on May 9th, the Parks and Rec Department hosted a virtual Denton Drive Live event on Facebook with a Johnny Cash tribute performance, and later in the month, a Bark Park virtual dog show contest. On Thursday, May 14th, the City Collection Center reopened with regular hours. Federal CARES funding allowed the city to build parklets or outdoor seating areas in front of Farmers Branch restaurants to accommodate social distancing. The historical park invited residents to document this global pandemic with personal quarantine stories for the park's archive to be submitted online. The skate park reopened in late May and the bark park reopened on Memorial Day. On Thursday, May 28th, the fire department moved into the all-new Farmers Branch Fire Station No. 2 with 2 full-sized bays and a storm shelter. In June, the Parks and Rec Department began regular Funshine and Teen Camp Leadership Summer programs with a limited capacity and COVID safety guidelines. On June 8th, the Rec Center reopened at 50% capacity. Also in June, the phased renovation of the city's 16-year-old Community Recreation Center began with an overhaul of the first floor, and it's expected to take about 6 or 8 months. The Mansky Library kicked off a virtual summer reading program. The Aquatic Center reopened June 15th at 50% capacity, and swim lessons started up on June 22nd. In July, the historical park hosted the Girls Make History Summer Camp, which sold out and won a state award for best pandemic programming. In-person events resumed at the park in August with music and a movie and Denton Drive Live. And when the local school district began a remote learning period, the Parks and Rec Department launched a play and learning child care program for Farmers Branch residents. The state and city finally allowed restaurants to reopen at 50% capacity in July and then 75% capacity in September. After a COVID pause, the Sustainability and Public Health Department sponsored a document shredding and textile recycling event on September 26. Our economic development team had a daunting challenge. During the first 3 months of the year, we had more than 1,500 room nights. But, of course, the hospitality industry then slowed to a crawl. Thanks to some serious lobbying and a state grant, however, we secured 500 room nights in September alone, and the Hampton Inn opened next to the Omni, offering another 116 rooms for travelers. Fitness classes started at the Aquatic Center on October 1st, and the American Red Cross classes restarted on October 10th. The Farmers Branch Police Department held a socially distanced National Night Out on October 6th. And Farmers Branch Historical Park held a socially distanced version of its Bloomin' Bluegrass Festival on October 16th. And perhaps most importantly, despite all of the restrictions and PPE requirements incurred by city departments, the City Council approved a budget that included a 1-cent reduction in the property tax rate and an increase in the property tax exemption for seniors. This summary will clearly evolve in the weeks and months ahead, and we'll have another update in the new year.